This spring, my course is entitled 20th Century American Jewish Short Stories. We will begin by examining works that were produced against the backdrop of the great wave of Jewish immigration to the United States between 1881 to 1924, that being the year when the Johnson-Reed Act stemmed the tide of Jewish newcomers. We will look at how they portrayed problems of cultural acclimatization, religious confusion, linguistic striving, and general modernization. While a thriving Yiddish literature and theater in New York, and to a lesser extent, Philadelphia, Boston, Cleveland, Chicago, and other cities, was being produced in the first decades of the 20th century, a few Jewish writers struggled to compose English prose and a fiction that communicated the social and cultural milieu of Jewish life. They worked to create a native English narrative that still expressed the syntax and cadences of Jewish speech and expression. Theirs was a quest to tell the story of Americanization, the complexities of assimilation, and the urge to shed the vestiges of the old world. Next, we will consider writers who deal with the double-edged predicament of acculturation, a condition wherein native-born Jews felt decidedly removed from Jewish tradition, but still on the margins of general mainstream American society. These writers worked to process the experience of immigration, tackle questions of Jewish identity, and still feel compelled to experiment with Jewish tropes, beliefs, and traditions. They often write from a place of discomfort, and their texts, in many cases, include a trace of narrative instability, a voice that strains against the communal pull, but is at the same time enriched by a frequently amorphous but distinctly Jewish discourse. Last, we will consider writers whose works demonstrate an easier rapport between competing identities, or an excavation of Jewishness in a more broader sense. This is a generation of writers who are free to fashion texts that assume a plurality of identity commitments, or interested in exploring a Jewish legacy that has become faint or disjointed. In these stories, Jewishness is not a suffocating threat. Instead, it is a fact, a starting point, that is inextricable to the narrative, or an inheritance that has long been neglected or insufficiently examined. Together, we will read these writers and embark on a journey, an imaginative exploration of some of the substantive concerns that have dotted the landscape of American Jewish life in the 20th century.